In our project called Mur-Mur-Murs from the Hills, we are reflecting on how knowledge that is relying on experience and on the more personal relationship with the plants can be transmitted in the space of the Botanical Garden, which is the space that we've collaborated with. So we saw Botanical Garden as this primarily scientific institution, but we were really curious how other types of knowledge can be represented here, since they are deposited in these plants that are all around. And we've really looked into the sources of this knowledge. So from the Botanical Garden, we actually ended up in this small village in the mountains in south of Slovenia, which is called Padovo, where people have very strong relationship with the environment around them, and they are some sort of secret informants of the Botanical Garden. And they have knowledge that is very leveled. It's not only hard data, but it's also their own personal experience. It's the legends, the anecdotes, and all of the different uses of the plants that have been passed on to them and that they are discovering. And we were really lucky to be gifted this enormous amount of knowledge from them, which later we translated into objects that now exist in the space of the Botanical Garden, and hopefully they'll stay here forever. And these objects are representing different features of the plants, different ways in which people interact with them, and different relationships that plants have with each other. And these objects are here to facilitate some sensorial experiences and are used as elements of storytelling. So we're trying to build these new stories and these new universes for the visitors to discover in order to create this more personal attachment to the plants and really trigger their curiosity and feel that the Botanical Garden is a bit more relatable and not only kind of cold and scientific and described by Latin names and numbers. With what we've contributed to the Botanical Garden, we're not building a tour or something that has to be treated in a chronological way. It's something that can be experienced in very many different ways, depending on what's your attitude as a visitor. Maybe you're just seeing one thing and a piece of text of the legends that we've written and one object, and that triggers some sort of interaction. Maybe you go through the garden guided by our stories, but it's not necessarily about getting it right and understanding everything. It's very much about giving space for many different interactions, many different reflections, and many different ways in which this garden can be seen and experienced.